Hey everyone, I'm Michael Bruce, CMO at Agent Moves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about sharing amazing stories of top realtors and how they got there so we can help make more realtors great. So let's jump in today with our guest. I'd like you to meet Linda Brennan, and I've asked Linda for something interesting about her outside of the realty business, and she said, well, something interesting is she's married to a farrier. I had to write that down because I had no idea what a farrier was. So why don't you tell us, Linda, a little bit about being married to a farrier?
Okay, well, interesting enough, I grew up horse crazy, but I did not grow up around horses. So when I met my husband, he told me he was a farrier. I didn't know what he was talking about either. But he's a horseshoer. Based, it's a horseshoer. Some people will say blacksmith, but that's more iron work, like gates and stuff like that. So he literally puts the shoes on horses' feet. In our area, we have a lot of horses, polo, dressage, hunter jumper. He was mainly polo, so that's been his specialty. And as we also call them, backyarder horses. So that's what we have. It's just something that eats while you sleep, which isn't always a good idea. They're big lawn ornaments.
Well, look at that. That is like so great. I love learning something new every day. And this was a great fact. And I'm going to run that word by my wife, who's like a linguist. So we'll see how good she is with that word. That's awesome. Love it. So let's talk about, this is all about kind of sharing your wisdom, in your journey, in this interview. So let's just, start. Tell me how you got started in real estate. How did the journey begin? And then we'll talk about like what's happened over the years.
Okay, it was a while ago. It's going to be 20 years in 2025. And my best friend went to kindergarten. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm a mother of four, but at that time I was a mother of three. And when our little one went to kindergarten, I didn't know. I was like, okay, what's next? So I literally attended a an informational evening, and it was put on by a broker, and he talked about becoming a realtor. And I said, well, that sounds interesting. So I decided to give it a shot, and I haven't looked back.
Well, okay, great. So tell us about how you got started. Were you part of a team? How did it work? In the beginning, and tell me a little bit about that journey, those first couple of years, and kind of breaking in and creating your own, your customers.
Yeah, so it was 2005. Market was hot, hot, hot. And so I got in first month, closed three deals, and I was like, I could do this forever. I mean, you didn't really, it was crazy. And I enjoyed it. And then, fast forward the market, so I just started copying what all the top agents were doing, and I started, doing all this marketing. And I took off a lot of my sphere hired me, and fast forward to when the market turned, I had like, I don't remember what it was, maybe 11 listings. And they weren't moving. They were starting to sit. And I had promised them all this marketing, which I couldn't afford anymore because things were slowing down. And so a friend of mine actually asked me to join their team. And I thought that was great because I brought my listings over. He took over the marketing, and I worked my own leads. Plus, he gave me leads, and it was a perfect fit. And I stayed there for 5 years and I saw a lot of people come and go, but it fit me well because I had little ones and I didn't want to have to run the show at that time. I just wanted to work and, enjoy all of that. And then after a while, I decided, I felt like my name was disappearing a little bit. So I made a proposal to them and they didn't agree with it. And we parted very good friends. And I went back out on my own.
Great. And when was that about?
I was probably 7 years in at that time.
Okay. Okay. So what does the look like for you right now?
So I have enjoyed many years on my own, just being a solo agent and building my business. A few years ago, my husband decided to get his license. So, he can't shoe forever. It is very hard work. So we say he's shoeing and showing. And really, I thought I was getting another me, right? I was like, okay, I can double the business. And I quickly learned that wasn't the case, that he has different strengths than I have and doesn't run at the same speeds that I do. So that was a very tough learning experience. Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah. Well, just working with your husband day to day, husband wives, is its own experience. You know,
right, he's worked with animals all his life, and then he has me. So the animals don't talk back, he says. But
uh, well, it sounds like you probably have a couple of the kids out of the house already as well.
yes. Oh, and then
So,
we added one too, so that was that was fun.
oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, okay, great. So you got this going now, solo agent, you're back like in control. Tell us about some of the things you're doing now, in your area. How's your business breakdown? Is it coming from your database and your sphere? Is it coming from, are you doing outside farming? What does it look like right now for you?
So most of my business does come from my sphere, and has, so it's been, since I've been in it a long time, I wish I'd have known then what I know now, right? That I've gotten to work with my friends and then their kids, and then the downsides, the upsides, friends of the friends, so that's been just, it just keeps growing that core database, which has been great. And so I'm going deeper on that, and that comes and goes, right? Like once the kids, my friends kids grow up, then some of their friends become agents, and so it thins out, and then it grows again. And but so that's been the base of my business that's really kept us going. I am starting to do more in the community, more events and farming, and add some of that in.
Okay, great. So you're looking at 2025 now. What's the growth goal?
I think now it's time to, I'd say, double. I'd like to double my business this year. So as I said, that bringing my husband in, it was kind of like, hold on, let's figure out who's going with where, and that's taken a while, because then the market got crazy again, and I was just kind of went into go mode, so I wasn't in training mode. And now that it's quieting back down, I feel that it's time to put everything into action.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think an interesting point with your husband, I think, again, takeaways for other people is you got into it, like you said, thought you had another you, and then looked at your skill sets and saw, okay, maybe it's a different divide and conquer kind of approach to it. So I find that interesting. So now that you're looking at, okay, looking to double the business, that is a lofty goal. Good, you have a whole other body, but he is still working and training and learning. Good that the market's good. What are some of the challenges? With two questions. One, what were some of the challenges you were facing, right? And that you overcame. And now, what do you think now going into 2025 for this growth, some of the challenges that you're going to face that you need to really work on?
My biggest challenge is myself, because I am a bit of a control person. So letting that go, and letting him, train and then let it go. So that's one of my biggest challenges, and that's what I'm working on now. And then now that things are sitting longer, I'm rewriting, I'd say, my listing maintenance plan, because I don't stop. So, we didn't have to do as much. The things would just sell. But now that they're not selling, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing for me? I'm not, I need my sellers to know that I'm not just sitting here waiting for the next showing, that we're actually doing reverse prospecting and circle prospecting and emailing it to our database and bringing it up at the networking events. But putting that, I know it, but I need them to know it. So that's really one of the things that I need to, one, bring that help in, because I just tend to do it. So that's some of the stuff I want to hand over. Here's the reverse prospecting. Call these people. He's great on the phone. So and so giving some of that up and sharing it, I should say.
Okay, so good. It's always good to know, like ourselves, right? In what hour, especially, when we're doing this, this long, we learn a lot about ourselves and we're honest, to know where our strengths and weaknesses are, right? What do you see? So outside of yourself, like giving up some control, right? Letting this go, and of course managing it, but doubling it is a big, a big goal. Anything else like, ways you're prospecting, ways you're communicating is everything smooth, happy with like your approach? Or do you think there's going to be a challenge with, let's say, nurturing, the database that you have while you're out in the community, at events, everything else that you have to do while you're, looking to get what you can out of your database.
I mean, I study this a lot, so it's really just putting it into action. Being a husband and wife team, right now we're not at soccer events because we've had an ALC surgery this year. But when we are out at soccer events, we're both out of the business. If we're over on the other side of the state, we're out of the business. So we have a TC, we have a VA. So we do have people that, but nobody, would be running an open house. However, our office, we do utilize, people from the office. So having those systems and having somebody that will run it the way we will, that can handle that. That's one thing. Other
Like other, like what, as an example, like, are you doing anything in video? Have you embraced some other, channels, if you will, like we all get set in our ways, right? But now we know we need to be doing other things. Are there things like that you plan on for 2025?
Absolutely. So I do, I said I want to, my next focus, my database is my core, but I want to add in more local stuff. So yes, more video, more informational, letting people, I have a great area. We have a lot of fun stuff to do. We have golf and all the horse stuff. People think of Florida, they don't think of horses. So that's a big goal of mine is to share that, all the great things that we have to do around here. And
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
such a variety of types of real estate, so, and I have knowledge in a lot of them, land sales, partner with a commercial guy, so just bringing all that in, and there's a lot of growth, and so yeah, there's endless content has got to
Oh,
get
that's
at it.
great. Okay, good. It's good to hear that way. Are you involved in any like niches, like your specialty, like in horses, right? Love of it, and that you have the business, right? I've noticed some realtors have found some very interesting niches that, that they've been able to kind of build and work within. Facebook groups that are around Disney. I have one realtor I've worked with, speaking to an amazing kind of association she formed of realtors to learn like how Disney does their business, not like going to
Uh-huh.
Disney associate. So it's kind of a cool group.
Yeah, that
Obviously,
sounds
it's people that
amazing.
love Disney, right? But anything like that that you've like focused on?
Well, I mean, right now, I would just say I've served all of our county, right? Palm Beach County is huge. So my goal is to bring it in my backyard because my backyard is kind of a niche. We are on acre properties. You can have, horses and just, a lot of, I mean, people have nurseries, there's land sales. So yes, to an extent, that is a niche of being just, we call it the acreage. And then a couple of Facebook groups that I want to focus on is like mentorship with teens. So I'm with Keller Williams. They have Quantum Leap. I'm looking to get into that and really just bring that. I've done a lot of volunteering through our church, so I have a heart for the youth. So I'd like to, do something there. And then with sports moms.
Great, excellent. What sports for a sports mom?
I don't think you have to have a specific sport. I think that there's that mentorship, bringing in, it's the mentality of bringing up somebody in that's in sports. My other three kids did not do sports. Did a little horseback riding and dance, but not like we do travel soccer now, and it's a thing. So I think that whole different level of, the mental game, it kind of goes with Quantum Leap, which is focuses on you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. And for teens, they don't think like that often, but it's a way of helping them to, just kind of take a look at that and how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
affects you.
Yeah, and I can see your point of doesn't really matter what sports, like a sports mom, a sports family is a sports family. You're traveling. I'll talk to you offline. My older son is actually a college soccer coach. I have a lot of
Oh,
college soccer experience. All 3 of my kids played in college. That's another story. But as a family, a sports family, it doesn't matter, right? If it was basketball or soccer or base, it wouldn't matter. It's you see what's going on in the communities and the support the parents do need. It is unique when your weekends are taken, and then whether you're, looking to get a bigger home, and deal with your real estate, or you need to move for whatever reason, you're in this sports family mode. That's like a full-time job on top of whatever job you do, right? But that is a cool, your empathy in understanding what goes on, I think is a, kind of a cool little niche in itself in being able to deal with sports families.
Yeah. And it does. I see, I mean, it just connects you. Anything that connects you to your real life. I've already got, I've got the real estate knowledge down. So that's the main thing. You got to know what you're doing. But now that I know what I'm doing, I get to choose where I, kind of where I double down and do it.
Right, right. Okay, last question. So now you get it, you go to win a listing. What does Linda do? Like, what makes it special that when you go in there, you close whatever your closing rate is? I'm sure it's in the 80, high 80s, 90% rate of once you get in, to speak to that person. What makes you different, or what's unique? Why do they like, lock in with Linda?
Well, I do have a good presentation and I know my stuff. So I come in with numbers. If they're a numbers person, I have it ready. I have, the why. And the how is predetermined, that's my track record. And I really listen to what they want. I mean, the strategy all depends on what they want, right? So I think knowing my stuff and hearing them is a winning combination.
Okay, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, listen, I love this, Linda. This was great conversation. Like I spoke about, we're trying to do this so that, other experienced realtors can listen to you and whatever nugget maybe they're looking to bring of, their, son or daughter into the business. It doesn't have to be your husband, right? Same thing. You're going to have, knowing their skill set as an example, or not just thinking they're going to be a duplicate of you. That alone, I think, is a good way to, look at as you're looking to grow your business and be sure, okay, how do I break this out? Don't have that preconceived kind of notion maybe going in, but some real good tips. And I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. This was fun and I appreciate it too.
Great. And anyone watching, please follow Linda. And if you like us, please like us and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and look forward to seeing you at the next interview. Thanks again, Linda.
Take care.